How can he perform in that lone start he had? I mean, how much confidence does that give you that, Zeitler's one of those 50-50 cases that you can trust the rookie?
Yeah, we thought that was a good showing by him, and it's worthy if it goes there to give him a shot, But then there again, we got Yodi as well. He's played playoff snaps for us, and we trust him as well. So we feel like we're in good hands.
Elbow, forearm, he's going to be down.
The result of the play is a touchdown. And the flag that was thrown on this was picked up.
I don't know, did it get the face mask?
Only do that if you're telling the official you're reporting.
The Lions hangover.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Brad, and you are listening to the Lions Hangover Podcast. It is divisional round time, playoffs. Man, Lions had that bye week. We had that bye week. It is good to be back. Thanks for listening, everybody. Don't forget, you can find me on all social medias, X, Instagram, and Facebook. Please, also, if you don't mind, give this podcast a review here. 5 stars, please, if you don't mind. And follow along. Subscribe, +, heart sign, thumbs up, whatever you got to do. Let's talk about the Lions versus the Commanders. Commanders just beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on a field goal. So that brings them here as they are the lowest seed. So let's pull up some stats and fun facts about the game. The Washington Commanders lead the all-time series 31-16-0. The Lions, however, have won the last 6 out of 7 against the Commanders. So that is good, man. Things are turning around. Good news for the Lions and their injury report. Let's see. It seems as if, hang on, I got my notes here, opening my notes. I'm going all back and forth all over the place. Yeah, Okay, well, bad news. Ziegler is going to be out for the game. He's been ruled out as of today, so that means Mahogany will start for him at right guard. Also, defensive lineman Pat O'Connor is out. Ennis Rakestraw is questionable. That is good news. Not sure if he'll play or not, but if not this week, definitely next week for the conference championship game should the Lions win. Also, the really good news, David Montgomery will be back. Taylor Dicker is feeling good, and Terrion Arnold will also be back after suffering that foot injury, and he was seen walking around in that boot, the walking boot, but he said he was going to be back, so we knew it was going to be good. Now, Bobby Wagner is going to play for the Commanders. That definitely changes things for the Commanders defense. That's definitely going to change things in the game. If he wasn't playing, I was going to say look for St. Brown to have an amazing day. I mean, he can still have an amazing day, but this is going to make it a little bit tougher as Bobby Wagner will be floating around the middle of the field there. Also, this is going to be problems for Sam Laporta and maybe a little bit of a hiccup for the running game, but I don't think so much because the Commanders are not so good at run defense. Now, let's talk a little bit of stats. Jayden Daniels, he is the weapon, the face of the franchise, rookie quarterback, playing phenomenal. He did finish 16th in the league with yards passing with 3,568 yards on the year. He's averaging just 209 yards in the air. He was ranked 10th in the league with touchdowns, though. He threw 25 and he only threw 9 interceptions. He was sacked the 6th most times in the league with 47. He did finish with a 100.1 quarterback rating. He was, however, their main running weapon. He finished as the 23rd best rusher in the league with 891 yards. That outdoes the actual running back. Brian Robinson the second. Is that right? We'll get to that in a second as well. But yeah, he was the 23rd best rusher in the league. He had 6 rushing touchdowns. He was averaging about 52 yards a game. Their leading receiver, of course, is Mr. Terry McLaurin. He finished 15th in the league with a total of 1,096 yards on 82 catches with 13 touchdowns. That is one more than Amon-Ra St. Brown has. They are, however, 7th in the league on offense, averaging 396 yards per game. The Lions are 2nd in the league with 409 yards per game. By comparison, Ravens are in first place They get about 424 yards per game on offense. This is all regular season stats, as not everybody has played in the postseason yet. And, the field gets smaller and smaller. So the Commanders are 17th in the league with 215 passing yards per game and third in the league with 154 rushing yards per game. The Lions are sixth in the league with the rushing at 146 yards per game. So we're just right behind them on that. The Commanders are fifth in the league, scoring 28.5 points per game. The Lions are first, scoring 33.2 points per game. Now defensively, Washington is 13th in the league. They are allowing 327.9 yards per game. The Lions are 20th. They are allowing 342 yards per game. Now, Washington is third with their pass defense, only allowing 189.5 yards per game. This is mostly because of Mike Sanistril, former Michigan standout, and now he's a Washington Commander standout. He's having a fantastic rookie year there, among their other awesome defensive backs who we will also talk about in just a moment. Lions have the fifth best run defense. They're only giving up 98.4 yards. This will be key as Washington is a good run team. The Commanders, though, this is their weak spot. They are giving up 137.5 yards per game, which ranks them at 30th. So there are only two teams worse than them. The Lions are ranked 7th defensively with points allowed per game at 20.1, and the Commanders allow 23 points per game, which puts them at 18th. Now, let's talk. What does this all mean, man? These are stats. I'm really good at reading these stats, but what does it mean for the game? Now, the Lions, they're going to have their hands cut out for them, okay? As far as passing goes, the defensive backfield for the Commanders is outstanding. They have Jeremy Chin, who is their safety. He's got one forced fumble on the year and just one interception. He does have 5 pass defendeds, and he has 73. Oh, I'm sorry. He has 117 total tackles on the year. That's 73 solo. But also there's, Mike Sanistril. He is having a great year. Sorry for the noises. He's got 93 total tackles, 62, 31 solo. Like, their top tacklers are their defensive backs. Okay. They also have Benjamin St. Juste. God, I hope I said that right. And I can't even say this one. Noah Igbinoghene? Jenny? It's Ghene. So that one's a tough one for me. Yeah. So these guys are really good. This defensive backfield is really good. Of course, they've got Bobby Wagner. Is it Bobby or Brian? I think it's Bobby, isn't it? Yeah, it's Bobby Wagner. He's the leading tackler on the team with 132. He only has 2 sacks on the year. Their leading sacks, though, one of their, Frankie Luvu, Luvu, he has 8 sacks on the year. And Dante Fowler Jr., he has 10.5 sacks on the year. So, they know how to get some of these guys, man. They know how to put pressure on the quarterback. They have a defensive, and I'm sure a lot of those are coverage sacks too. With the defensive backfield that they have, that's really their bright spot on defense, which is kind of good news, for us, because you think Montgomery coming back and Gibbs having the year that he's having, I'm expecting big things out of Gibbs and Montgomery. Not sure what kind of a load that Montgomery will have coming back from his knee injury. I think if we're able to dominate the run, I actually see Gibbs having a bigger day. Probably 1.5 times the amount of carries that Montgomery will have. Montgomery will probably have, it's hard to say, I would guess between 8 and 12 carries, and I'm guessing 1 or 2 catches on the day. That's what I'm expecting from Montgomery coming back. Gibbs is playing great. Montgomery's coming back from a semi-serious injury. You definitely don't want to injure him further, but if he's good to go, he's good to go. So, but I expect, like 12 to 18 carries from Gibbs, and probably 3 or 4 catches. I think that is perfectly reasonable. I know defensively they're not giving up too much pass yardage, but I still think Goff is probably going to throw for, anywhere between 230 and 250. I would put him, if there's a over-under of 260, I'd probably go with the under on that. I know the Lions were almost favored by 10 points before Bobby Wagner was cleared because he did have an injury. But since he was cleared for injury, that point spread dropped to 8.5 points. I think Jayden Daniels can run. He's averaging, just over 50 yards a game. We struggle with scrambling quarterbacks. So Brian Robinson Jr., he was just behind Jayden Daniels. He's got 799 yards. Also, Austin Eckler, he's played in 12 games. He's got 367 yards. And they also have Jeremy McNichols, who has a couple hundred yards himself. He's got 261 yards. Daniels rushed for 6 touchdowns. Robinson Jr. has 8 touchdowns. Eckler has 4 touchdowns. McNichols has 4 touchdowns. They have a plethora of running weapons. I'm not expecting much from them as far as the passing game goes. I can't talk tonight. McLaurin, he's a fantastic receiver. If the Lions play anywhere near that Vikings game, I'm not expecting much. Jayden Daniels is a rookie. I know he's played great. I know he hasn't turned the ball over much. I got to think there's going to be 1 or 2 interceptions, though. I have to think that. I think the Lions, if they come with the same amount of intensity, Alex Anzalone changes this defense with his presence back. I'm hoping they can contain Daniels on any sort of scrambling play. I think you take him out of the equation. I'm not expecting Robinson to have a big game. I'm not expecting Eckler to have a big game. I'm not expecting McNichols to have a big game. So whoever is playing, I'm not expecting them to have a big game. It does worry me a little bit because Lions do. I say this all the time. I know you guys know this, that they do struggle against a scrambling quarterback. This is the bulk of the run yards given up is from a scrambling quarterback. So Jayden Daniels, though, he completes 69% of his passes. He's 331 of 480. He's played in all 17 games. He's just under 210 yards per game. His longest is 86 yards. I'm really impressed that he hasn't turned the ball over. But like I said, I think he's gonna. And he's been sacked so many times this year. 47. What did I say? Like that was the 6th most or something like that? Yeah, 6th most. 47 times he's been sacked. I got to think the Lions, Ford Field, it's going to be a ruckus. It's going to be a ruckus there at Ford Field. I don't even know if that's the right word. I got to think they're going to get at least 3 sacks on him. They squeaked by Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, yes, beat us earlier in the season. We were not the team that we are now. I am not afraid of the Washington Commanders. I am expecting it to be a solid victory. I would like it to not be close. We might end up winning by 10 points. I think Vegas has it right for the most part. I'm expecting a 30-20 game, but I think for the most part it's going to be like 30-13, and then the Commanders will score. They'll get like a late touchdown, making the score look a little bit closer than the game actually was. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout by any means. I do expect the Lions to control the time of possession. I do expect the Lions to take care of the ball. No turnovers. I can't expect any turnovers from Jared Goff. I don't think there's going to be any fumbles from the running backs. Gibbs, Montgomery, they're going to hang on to the ball. I think things are going to look good. I'm not expecting big things out of JMO this game. This doesn't seem to be a game for JMO, not with the Commanders' defensive backfield. I think this is going to be a run-focused game, and I think, they're going to dump it off to St. Brown. They're going to dump it off to Laporta. Williams might get – I think this is going to be a game for like a reverse or, some sort of trick play. That's not going to involve like a flea flicker or anything like that. I can't imagine that. I think you're going to be a little bit more conservative as far as the pass plays go, I'm not looking for too many deep passes. Like I said, just because of their defensive backfield, I think they are very smart with the pass. So I do think Goff is going to be able to chew up yards. Like I said, they're going to dump it off to St. Brown, Laporta, all that stuff. The Wagner being returning, it is a little bit of concern. But, Lions are good. They have a lot of weapons. I think their offense is going to keep Washington's defense on their toes. I don't think Washington has as good of an offense for our defense. I think we match up well against them with our defense, especially with Anzalone being back and playing as good as he played. It sucks that we don't have somebody like McNeil back. It sucks that we don't have, Hutchinson back, which, by the way, I have to say, the Super Bowl is 3 weeks away. If Hutchinson, you can tell right now, if Hutchinson's walking with a limp, if he's got to be practicing after this game. He has to be practicing before the NFC Championship game. If he's going to come back for the Super Bowl, he needs to be practicing. So that's just all there is to it, because how much practicing do they do during that bye week? It's mostly press tour and stuff. So he's got to be legit running, no limping. There can't be much soreness, and who knows? It's not like we get constant updates about him, but we need, if there's just a way to find out how he's doing, like we need to find that, because there's no way. I don't know. It didn't. Last time Dan Campbell talked about Hutchinson's injury, it did not sound optimistic that he will be back. However, I am an optimist. I like to think he will be back, but if you're looking at the timeline, he needs to be returning to pads after this game, pretty much. In my head, maybe like the Thursday, Friday before the conference championship game. Like, he just needs to come back and start getting up to speed if it's going to happen. But then you think, he's a rare talent. How much practice is he going to need before the game? So, but still, he's going to be slower. He hasn't played in 3 months, 4 months, by the time the Super Bowl is happening. This is definitely getting too far ahead of myself. That we need to beat Washington first. I think we can do it. I'm not worried, but this is the playoffs. Every team that is in the playoffs has earned a spot, okay? Has earned a spot to be here. We cannot take them lightly, like we have to play them tough. And I'm positive we will. We know what happened last year in San Francisco. I think the message is loud and clear. I don't see us letting up at all. I think we're going to drive the point home. I don't care how much of a lead we have at halftime. I think you will see us still dominate in the second half. We're not letting up, off the gas pedal. It's going to be balls to the wall, dominance. I think I'm feeling really good about this Washington matchup. I think we're going to have a lot of momentum going into the conference championship game. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's hard not to feel confident. And Washington's a good team. They're an up-and-coming team. It seems like they're turning things around in the franchise. But this is not their year. Like, we still have this, and I'm just feeling really good, and I think the Lions can do all of it. So I can't wait for that game. As far as I want to talk about Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn and any of the other coaches, like I know Chris Spielman has interviewed for the Jets GM job and stuff. And just a generalized statement. I know we are all afraid to lose these guys, because it's what we've known and we're finally experiencing success. But just because they're leaving does not mean we're going to suck. Who knows? Like I said, I'm an optimist. Who knows? Maybe we will get even better. Okay? Sooner or later, Ben Johnson's offense will be found out. That's the way the NFL works. Okay? You're not going to just continuously dominate. It just doesn't go that way, okay? Even if Ben Johnson leaves and he becomes like one of the greatest head coaches of all time, it will not be the chances of becoming a dynasty are highly unlikely, okay? And during that time, and this goes for the Lions as well, during that time, think of how many coaches came from Bill Belichick in the dynasty of the Patriots, and the Patriots just kept winning because they had a core nucleus of players that stuck together. That's the most important thing here, okay? So just because Ben Johnson leaves, this is basically what I was trying to get at. Just because Ben Johnson leaves, Aaron Glenn leaves, they might take a few coaches with them. Yeah, there could be little steps back, but that doesn't mean you have to trust Brad Holmes. You have to trust Dan Campbell, and everybody else in the organization to find the right pieces to take their spot. There's always a next man up mentality for this team, and you have to believe the Lions are going to do the right thing. I love Aaron Glenn. I love Ben Johnson. In a perfect world, they would stay. But that's not how the NFL goes. So you just wish them the best when they leave and be excited for who comes in to take their spot. And yeah, there's going to be big shoes to fill, but who's to say that the shoe doesn't get bigger, Like, I think there's potential there for the Lions to just keep doing good and keep evolving, and the players just keep getting coached up. I trust Dan Campbell to find the right coaches to take the spot. So that's all I wanted to say about that. I'm sure in the offseason I will have an episode dedicated to the coaches that left and the coaches that are taking the spot. So, I only do like 4-5 episodes in the off season. I'm feeling pretty positive that one of the episodes is going to be a coach spectacular episode. So with that said, I feel like I've covered everything. I do think the score is going to be like a 30-20. That's what I'm expecting. I think the Lions will have it well in control. I think it'll only be close in the beginning. Even, it'll be, if the Commanders get out to a fast start, I won't be worried necessarily. If they go up 14-0, I think we could still come back from that if that happens. Now, if it gets to like a 17-0 Commanders lead, like they get out to a fast start, I'm going to be worried then, just so you know. But I don't even want to speak that into existence. So I'm calling it 30-20. That's the shot. That's what I believe the Lions can do. And I look forward to this game on Saturday night, man. 8:00. I'm excited. Let's get this division game won, okay? Let's go to the conference championship where the Lions will host a conference championship game for the first time ever in the Super Bowl era. So I think first time ever. There was no conference championship back in, there was just the NFL. There wasn't NFC, AFC back then. So this is the first time ever the Lions would host a conference championship game. So, God, I just hope both teams have fun, guys. All right. With that being said, you guys have a good night, good day, good morning, whatever it is. It's almost 1:00 in the morning here, and I got to edit this thing now. I got to get up early, too. I got to get up at 6 hours. You guys don't know what I put myself through just to get you these episodes. Anyways, thanks for listening. 5 stars, subscribe, share with your friends, all that stuff. Thanks a lot. You guys have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.